Good morning, everybody. How are you? Can you hear me all right? Please let me know. Is the audio working okay? If you have any questions, please send them in now. I'll be here for about 1 hour to answer your questions. Fanny Ong, hi Tan Ajahn, happy to see you Ajahn. YQ Campbell, Mandami Pante, Nabeti, Namaskaran Ajahn from Medan, Indonesia. Yimbun Cho, Sadhu Sadhu. Please tell me where you come from if this is your first time to join our meeting. And if you send in your questions and it seems that I don't read them, it means I don't see them on my screen. So you might have to resubmit your question again, because sometimes it just doesn't show up on my screen. So I don't know that you have sent in a question. So if it seems like I have skipped your question, it means I don't see your question on my screen. So you have to resubmit your question again. Kim Moon Chu, Sadhu Sadhu. Siripriya, Sadhu Sadhu. Geng Yen So, greeting Tan Ajahn. Hi Hikari. Ken, okay. Naomi Jonas, good morning Ajahn. We can hear you well, thank you. How are you? I haven't heard from you for a while. I hope you're doing okay. Kenneth Hunt, good morning Tan Ajahn. Sound and vision are good. Thank you. Okay, if somebody submit the question and it seems like I have skipped the question, it means I haven't seen the question on my screen. So you have to resubmit your question again. From Kelly Lian, Sadhu Sadhu. From Karuna, good afternoon, greeting from Indonesia. Namaskaran Ajahn. Wish you good in everything. Thank you very much. Question number 1 from Fabrizio Pichi, Brazil. A few years ago, I had an amazing samadhi experience, but it never happened again. It was very nice, but there is little frustration because it never happened again. How to deal with this first frustration and what to do to attain samadhi frequently. The reason for your frustration is your desire or your craving for the same experience that you have experienced. And the desire will never bring the experience back. What will bring the experience back is your practice of samadhi, especially training yourself in mindfulness. So if you want that experience to come back, you have to be mindful all the time when you meditate. Don't let your mind stray away from your meditation object. Just keep focusing on your meditation object and don't expect anything, because your expectation will block the experience to arise. Forget about the past experience and stop expecting the future experience. Just concentrate on the present. Concentrate on your mantra if you use the mantra. Concentrate on your breath if you use the breath. That's all you have to do. Don't think about the experience that you had already experienced. And don't expect for the experience to materialize again. Just keep on focusing on your meditation object, such as your breath or the mantra. If you keep on doing it frequently, then you will become adapt to the practice, and you will know how to get into samadhi after you have done it for several times. So you have to maintain your practice if you want to maintain the experience. Because once you stop and when you come back later, you'll find it almost impossible to get into samadhi again. So you have to start from the beginning again, which is training yourself in mindfulness all the time, from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. อรนุชน้อยอรนุชนุ้ยนมัสการพระอาจารย์ from San Jose. Thank you. Karuna can hear well, Ajahn. Thank you. Jinilin Poor. Good afternoon, Mahajahn. I'm Jinilin Poor from Selangor, Malaysia. Satu, 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 Anumodana. From Gimbun Chu, Satu, Satu. From Mandy Smith, good evening, Ajahn. Hello from Niagara Falls. Your advice echoes in my brain with difficult situations. I hope it will calm your mind and stop the stress inside your mind. Get rid of the stress inside your mind. Calm your mind. From M. Sid, Satu, Satu. Question number 2 from Fabricio, Brazil. Do you accept Westerners in your monastery for ordination? I'm not the abbot, so I cannot accept you, but you have to talk to the abbot once you come to the monastery. But right now he doesn't accept any Westerners due to the spread of the virus. You have to wait until after the thing come back to normal, and then you have to ask permission from him. Whether he'll ordain you or not is up to him. There's nothing I can do. But you can always ordain in some other monastery and then come and stay with us on a temporary basis first. And if you're lucky, if the abbot likes you, he might allow you to stay on a permanent basis. I don't know, this is a matter of trial and error. But if you cannot stay with me, there are other good forest monasteries you can stay. And if you have any questions, you can come in and ask me on this Q&A session, or listen to my Dhamma talks and my Dhamma postings in my Facebook page for advice, for instruction. Do you have temporary ordination on Wat Yan? Yes, but they are for local people, for Thai. With Westerners, I haven't seen any temporary ordination yet. คุณวลัยพรกราบนมัสการพระอาจารย์ สาธุ สาธุ From Mickey LKF, my respect to you, Ajahn Suchart. Thank you for your helpful guidance all the while. You are welcome. Silani, Satu, Satu. Joylin Te, Satu, Satu. If you send in your questions and I haven't answered them or seem as if I have skipped them, it means I don't see your question on the screen. So you have to resubmit your question again. I hope it doesn't happen, but it did happen last time. Some of the questions didn't show up on my screen, and so I didn't know that you sent in your questions. I don't know why. Maybe that's the way things work. Anicca, not certain, not reliable, is anicca. Question from Jonathan E. Pisco, USA. Question number 1. The first precept talks about not killing beings that have breath. Do intestinal parasites have breath? I interpret that animals or beings without the five sensual organs, without eyes, ears, nose, tongue, or receptor, or body receptor. It means they don't have consciousness, or they don't have the mind attached to them. So they are not considered to be beings in the true sense of the word. So intestinal parasite have breath? I don't know, but I don't think they have the five sensual organs. How do we know what has breath? That's the point. You cannot judge them by breath, but you can judge them by their sensual organs. If they can see, if they can hear, then yes, they are beings. They have the mind attached to them. But if they don't, then it means there is no mind attached to them, no spirit attached to them. Are we allowed to destroy intestinal parasite if they will harm us? Well, we do it all the time. The body sometimes do it automatically. They have to get rid of the things that will try to destroy the body. So I wouldn't worry about this organism. Just worry about the organism, the big ones, the ones with the sensual objects, sensual organs. If the organism can see, can hear, can feel, can react to your action, then they are beings, they have the mind attached to them, and then you should not kill them. Even if they're small, like ants and insects, small insects, they do have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. Sundong Phone Dead. Sadhu, sadhu. Question number 2 from Jonathan E. Pisco. I have worked on my laziness by doing more things. I have certain experiences set for myself for the day, expectations set for myself for the day. But I find that after a very disciplined day, I feel tired afterward. Then it becomes harder and harder to have consistent discipline over time. Is this because of too much discipline, or perhaps not enough energy, or something else? I think there are your defilements trying to block your energy, trying to block your discipline, trying to block your diligence. Don't worry about them. Just disregard them. Just stick to your routine. Stick to your discipline. Even though if you feel tired, don't worry. The worst can happen is you go to sleep, you fall asleep. But don't give up on your discipline. Don't worry about the feelings. They are illusional. They will disappear after you have overcome your defilements. After the resistance stops, then your mind will become calm, peaceful, and full of energy. How is it possible to master oneself over long periods of time consistently? You have to stick to your discipline and ignore the feelings, the bad feelings that appear. This is part of the struggle. When you win, when your defilements stop resisting, then all this bad feeling will disappear, and you feel that you have control on your discipline, on your practice. So this is something that you have to endure in order to achieve success. Just stick to your discipline, stick to your schedule, and keep on doing what you're supposed to tell yourself to be doing. Even if you feel tired or exhausted or whatever, just consider this is a game. This is a distraction or hindrance created by your defilements to cause you to give up your discipline, to give up your exertion. From Joyce Uy, good afternoon, Ajahn. May you be well and safe. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. From Malaysia. Chu Chin, good afternoon and my respects to Tan Ajahn from Malaysia. Thank you. From Love Bowl, Namaskaran Ajahn. Thank you. From Lim Kwang, Ajahn, lately I'm having problem with my meditation. Can't sit long, previously can sit 1 hour, now only 20 minutes. What went wrong, Ajahn? Lack of mindfulness. You haven't been training yourself in mindfulness before you come to meditate. So you have to keep on training yourself in mindfulness as much as possible, from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. Then when you come to meditate, you can sit for longer. So if you want to continue on with your practice, you can keep reciting a mantra or do some chanting. Don't get up yet. After you sit for 20 minutes and you feel that you want to get up, you can continue on sitting by chanting mentally or reciting a mantra mentally. After a while, you will find that you can continue to sit longer. From EOSC, Sadhu, Sadhu. Question from Samanji, Ceylon Daily News, Sri Lanka. Question number 1. When a close family member dies, we the Buddhists are curious to know as to when and where the beloved family member will be reborn. Can Buddhists depend on an Arahant to get an idea about their recently deceased family member, or their citta to be more accurate place of birth? It depends on whether that Arahant can trace the spiritual being. If he has this psychic power that he can trace and know where this spiritual being is reborn in. Like the Buddha, he had psychic power, which he could trace where his mother was born or had become, and he had the ability to contact her and teach and taught her the Dhamma until she became a Sotapanna. Not every Arahant disciple of the Buddha has this psychic power. From what I heard, only a few, maybe 5% of meditators who has this psychic power, who has the ability to connect or to know where the spiritual being exists during that certain time. But it's not really important, whether you know or not, it doesn't change your problem. So it's better to know how to deal with your problem, how to solve your problem, rather than trying to know where this person goes after death. It's a waste of time on your part. You should spend your time on the practice of meditation to get rid of your defilements and get rid of your stress and dukkha, and stop rebirth in the process. From Solon, I really want to know how can we get our real self of awareness, as there is always a voice in my head. Does awareness mean it is incomplete state of silence, no chanting of voice in my head. Yes, in a way, the awareness is being blocked by our thoughts. So we have to start our thoughts by mindfulness, by meditation. When the mind becomes still without thoughts, then the awareness will be fully obvious to us. So you have to learn how to be mindful, which is to focus your attention on one particular mental object, such as a mantra, Bhutto Bhutto, or on your body, movement. Just keep watching your body, what it is doing at the moment. Keep focusing, watching your body all the time. Not allow your mind to go think about the past or the future. And when you have this ability to focus, when you meditate, you can focus on your mantra or on your breath. And then eventually your mind will become still, your thought will disappear, and then the awareness will become obvious to you. From Suchart, Chai Kuson, is it possible to attain enlightenment by practicing only samatha samadhi by yourself and do vipassana by listening to some sutta, such as Anattalakkana Sutta from others? Yes, you need to have samadhi and you have to have wisdom, the ability to see the Four Noble Truths and the three characteristics of existence, anicca, dukkha, anatta, in the five khandhas. From Kwan Lee Man, dear Ajahn, with respect, I am from Malaysia. If the mind is silent, do we put the mindfulness on the silence? Mindfulness, just keep watching, just to be mindful of the present. Just keep the mind stay in the present. Don't let it go think about the past or about the future or about anything. Just keep the mind merely knowing. From Tiem Hoa Tan, greeting from Malaysia, Puchong, Selangor. May Ajahn live healthy and long. Thank you for all your answer and guidance. Thank you. You're welcome. From Irene Uy, good afternoon, Tan Ajahn. Satu, Satu. Good afternoon to you. Soon Hin Yeo, Satu Ajahn. From Dhamma sharing, Vandami Pante. What should I do when I meet a monk who doesn't practice Vinaya properly? A monk who explicitly asking for money, or a monk who behaves like a lay person sitting on the street stall playing chess with lay person. Should I still pray, paying my respect to the monk? Thank you for the guidance. It depends. If you can ignore him, then you just ignore him. But if you cannot ignore him, then you can just say hello, pay your respect. Just merely doing it physically, but mentally you might not have to be really respectful, but you want to be courteous. You want to maintain good relationship with all beings. Even though if that person is bad, you don't want to antagonize or get that person mad and become hateful of you. So just be nice to any person, whether good or bad person. This is metta, sape satta avela hontu. Second question from Samanji, Sri Lanka. We usually offer alms or engage in meritorious deeds to invoke merits on our deceased family members. but not all are in a position to acquire merit. Could you elaborate on who can acquire merit and who cannot? See, once the body dies, then the mind will be either elevated to a higher level of existence or to a lower realm of existence. If the mind of the person who died is elevated due to the merit he or she performed while alive, then this person doesn't need any merit from us because they have their own merits to support them, to keep them happy. It's only those people whose mind has been elevated, not elevated, but been put on a lower realm of existence, below the realm of human beings, which are animals, and the spiritual beings that are called hungry ghosts, or scary ghosts, or hellish ghosts. Only one will be able to receive the merit. This is the hungry ghost. Hungry ghosts are the people who, when they were alive, they don't do any charity, and they acquire wealth or possession by dishonesty, by breaking the precept. Then when they die, they become a hungry spirit or hungry ghost. So they come and ask for merit. Merits are like food for the spirit. So when they get merit, then they can at least have some food to keep them not hungry for a while. This is the only one type of spirit that can accept the merit that we dedicate to them. From God Mien Lo, Satu Satu. Question number 3 from Samanji, Sri Lanka. Millions of people fall prey to the daily pandemic with each passing day. Over 3 million people have succumbed to a deadly virus. When people die in millions within a short span of time, where will they be reborn? They will be reborn in the spiritual realm of existence, which doesn't have any definite area like the physical realm of existence. So they can be accommodated as many. They don't need to have space. In the spiritual realm of existence, there is no space like the physical space we occupy, because the spirit or the mind doesn't have any size, shape, or form. If they are being reborn as human, it is likely to experience a sudden population rise in the future. That depends on the human who populate the world at that time. If they have control over the population, the birth rate, then this spiritual being cannot be forced the human beings to have birth. They have to wait. So it depends on the human beings whether they want to have babies or not. If they don't want to have babies, then this spiritual being will just have to wait until there is the people who wants to make babies. So even though if there are many spiritual beings waiting to be reborn as human, but if there's no human to give them the human birth, then they cannot be reborn yet. They just have to wait. So the sudden population surge is not because there are spiritual beings waiting to be reborn. It depends on the human population themselves. If they feel that they should have more babies, then they will make more babies. If they don't feel like having babies, then there won't be any more babies. Also, not all those who die will be born as humans. Some will be born in animal or preta world. Could you explain this in accordance with Buddha's teaching? This is just what I mean. The spirit will become whatever it has done with good or bad karma. With good karma, they will be living as a spiritual being in the devil realm. If they did bad karma, they will be reborn as human, as animals, or as preta, or a spiritual being in hell, or a spiritual being full of fear. So they have the place to go. Don't worry. But as far as coming back to be born as a human, that depends on the human population, whether they want to create more human or not. If they don't, then the spiritual beings that wants to take human birth will have to wait. From Monica Chen, good morning, Thanajan, from Malaysia. Good morning to you. It's afternoon now for me. Oh, it's still morning, 11:32. From Karuna, Ajahn, I want to ask how to handle the fright for everything in life activity. I ever feel many times over the years I am not confident and lazy to do. How to figure out in meditation. Well, fear comes from the desire to live. So you have to get rid of your desire to live by accepting the truth that life is impermanent, that your life can end anytime, anywhere, any day. If you can accept this, then you will not be afraid of anything. Be not afraid of death. Just keep reminding yourself that life is impermanent, not certain. You don't know when you're gonna die, but you will die sooner or later. So if you can accept this fact, then you will not be afraid of anything. From Lord Chingyek, Suki Hotu Ajahn from Malaysia, may all of us be safe and happy. Ayi Namaskaran Thanajan. Lim Kwang, thank you, Thanajan. Question number 4 from Samanji, Sri Lanka. What is the best Dhamma way to start your day? Start with mindfulness. As soon as you awake, start reciting a mantra. I'll keep focusing, watching what your body is about to do. It is about to stand up, to walk to the toilet, to wash, to brush teeth or whatever. Just keep focusing on what the body is doing. Or you can keep reciting the mantra. Only stop the mantra when you have to think seriously. If you don't have to think seriously, then stop your thought and just keep on reciting the mantra. This will make your mind calm empty and peaceful and happy. Monica Chen, is wearing all white a rule when keeping the 8 precepts at monastery? It depends on the monastery that you go. Some monastery doesn't require all white. Some just require that you put on a white blouse and a black dress. Or some monastery don't require anything at all. It is not part of the 8 precepts. It is just the protocol. It's just the practice. So if you're keeping the 8 precept at home, you can put on, you can wear anything you like, because wearing the clothing doesn't has anything to do with keeping or breaking the precepts. I answer your question here. Is wearing all white applicable when keeping the 8 precepts at home? You can wear them or you don't have to wear them. They are not part of the 8 precepts, what you wear. It's what you do that is part of the 8 precepts. From Felicia Chan, Satu, Satu. Ui Puhua Sa Suki Hotu. Okay. From Adeline Chin, greetings Tanajan. My question today, I took the 8 precepts on Visakha Day. I was able to curb my hunger. I didn't feel hungry. The next day I didn't observe all the 8 but only had 1 meal. When night approached I feel hungry. It was harder than when I took the 8 precepts. How can I overcome this? When you're hungry, just think of the food in your mouth, or the food in your stomach, or the food that you discharge in the toilet. If you can look at this food, then your hunger for food will disappear. Question number 5 from Samanti, Sri Lanka. What we have read is, throughout his samsara journey, the Buddha had done many wrongs, but he had never lied to anyone. However, today many have the habit of telling lies, as if they do know the gravity of it. People may tell a lie even soon after observing 5 precepts. Why is telling lies considered a grave sin? Still, why is it so common? I think telling lies is the forerunner of doing other sins. If you can lie, then you can do any other sin. But if you cannot lie, then you'll find it harder to do other sin. Normally you lie to protect your other sin. Like you steal something and if people ask you, did you take my money? You will say no. You want to will cover your other sin. From Solon Ramtel, thank you so much, Guru, for your wisdom words. You're welcome. Ayi Sanjan, how about fasting in Buddhism? Fasting is the method to stimulate your practice, to force your mind to be more mindful, to deal with your hunger. Force your mind to use wisdom to stop your hunger. So if you're not hungry, then you don't have to be mindful or use wisdom, because you don't have any problem. But when you're hungry, then you have a problem. You feel uncomfortable. You have stress. So you have to use either mindfulness or wisdom to deal with the stress. So for people who want to advance in their practice, they usually some of them use fasting as a method of helping them practice more and achieve more from their practice. From Chai Heng, Suki Hotu Pante, Satu, Satu, for the Q&A. session. You're welcome. From AB10, Sadhu, Sadhu. Sadhu Ajahn for your good Dhamma guidance. You're welcome. From Karuna, Ajahn, how the Abhaya beings can know the sharing merit from their family and they can accept the merits. I think it is the other way around. Normally, the family would not know whether the beings wants to have merits or not. They have to show some sign, like coming in a dream, or if the living person has the ability to connect with the spiritual beings, then that person will know whether any spiritual beings wants merit or not. From Pasana, worship Ajahn from Bangkok, Thailand. You're welcome. From Michael Cheng, greetings from Penang, Malaysia. When we meditate, we will note the pleasant, unpleasant feeling. Thoughts arises, ceases, and not to react. Does it mean that we are training our mind to be in this state when we are out of meditation, when dealing with people or things around us? Yes, you want to get the mind to a point where it doesn't react to anything by concentrating on a meditation object until the mind becomes still and not reacting. And if you don't get to that, then when you tell yourself not to react, this is only not real, because you will eventually succumb to your reaction. But if you succeed in your meditation, when you can meditate to the point where you have equanimity, then this equanimity will make the mind automatically not reacting to any pleasant or unpleasant feelings. So you cannot just tell your mind. Telling it doesn't mean you can stop reacting. You have to get the mind to become still, which is the fourth jhana. From James Ong, Sadhu, Sadhu. Question number 6 from Samanji, Sri Lanka. Offering Katina robe is considered to be a great meritorious deed. Devotees gather in thousands and spend lavishly to conduct Katina puja in Sri Lanka. However, unlike in the time of the Buddha, today robes materials are not scarce. Does Katina puja still hold the same significance as it did in the past? Well, I think there is a misunderstanding as far as the word meritorious deed is concerned. During the time of the Buddha, monks had problem due to the lack of having material to make robe. So the Buddha then asked the lay people to give cloth material so that the monk can make them into robe. So he said that this is very meritorious as far as the monk is concerned. The monk needs the robes, needs the material to make the robe with. But as far as the merit that the person who offers is concerned, it is the same like giving food or giving other requisites of living. But this is a misunderstanding, because they thought that by giving Katina robe, they will make more merit. It's not the case. It is meritorious for the monks, because during that time the monk has no material to make cloth to make their robe with. So it's meritorious on the receiver, not meritorious on the giver. The giver still get merit, but just the merit they get depends on the amount they give, not whether it's katina robe or ordinary robe or food or anything like that. Merit that a giver get depends on the amount of giving. The more the person gives, then the more merit he gets. So right now, nowadays, we have lots of robes. So for monks, it doesn't make much difference to give katina robe or not, because there are other ways of getting robes. So as far as monks are concerned, they are not great merit anymore. I hope this will clarify your question. From Victor Uy, good afternoon, Ajahn. Victor Uy from KL. Can walking meditation the way to enlightenment? Part of the way. You need to have calm, you have samadhi, you have to have mindfulness, and then you have to develop wisdom before you can become enlightened. But first you need to develop mindfulness and samadhi by walking meditation and sitting meditation. Hui Lin Lao, Sadhu. Sumala Leo, good afternoon, Ajahn. Good afternoon to you. Question from Brian, Singapore. How do we deal with anxiety? You can use mindfulness by keep reciting a mantra or keep chanting. Stop your mind thinking about what is causing you anxiety. When you stop thinking about the object of your anxiety, then your anxiety will disappear. Or you can use wisdom and treat the object of your anxiety as anicca, dukkha, anatta. Once you can see that the object of your anxiety is anicca, dukkha, anatta, it means there's nothing you can do anything about it. Then you accept the truth and let things happen. Whatever's gonna happen, let it happen. Then your anxiety will disappear, such as aging, sickness, and death. This is something is beyond your control. It's anatta. It's anicca. So if you accept this, then the dukkha or anxiety will disappear. The reason why you have anxiety because you don't accept the truth of anicca and anatta. Can we consume beef as a Buddhist? Yes, as long as you don't kill the animal for the beef. But if beef is already there and you can access this, then you can consume it. But you must not kill for the beef itself or tell someone to kill for you. But if it's already available and you have nothing to do with the killing, then you can consume the beef. Monica Chen, thank you for your helpful advice. You're welcome. Naomi Jonas, thank you, Ajahn. I am doing well. I feel I am progressing, but very slowly. Slowly but surely. Keep on doing it. Don't worry about how fast or slow it is advancing. As long as you advance, it's okay. Is getting a bit of partial samadhi more merit than offering dana? There are different types of dana and they cannot be replaced by the other. If you cannot have merit from samadhi, then you should get merit from dana, because merit from dana is easier to acquire than the merit from samadhi. But if you cannot offer any dana, then you will just have to rely on the merit from samadhi. From Kim Chua, greeting from Kwantan, Ajahn, and all the Dhamma to enable continuous mindfulness in daily life? Are we not supposed to have any thought while doing any chores out of meditation? Just the thought about what the chores that you are doing, that's all. Like if you're washing dishes, you might have to have the thought about which dish you have already done, which dish you haven't yet done, but not about any other thing. Just only think about the chores itself. But if you're not doing any chores and if you don't have to use any thought, like when you're walking, then you don't need to think about anything. The goal is to minimize the thought as much as possible. If you still have to think about your chores, about what you do, you just do that, but not about any other thing. If there is any thinking, does it mean it breaks the continuity of mindfulness? It depends on what you're thinking. If you're thinking about what you do, you are still mindful. But if you're thinking about something else, then you are not mindful. From Chin Li Jing, can chanting lead to jhana? Usually not, but sometimes it might. It depends on the individual. If the person is really absorbed into chanting and not thinking about anything, it is possible that the mind can enter into jhana that way also. From Ong Eng Eng, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Siti Kusuma, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Chiao Shang, Hi Prajan, trying so hard to meditate longer than 1 hour in a session, but most of the time fail. How to make one session longer than 1 hour? You have to continue on sitting and regenerate more mindfulness by reciting the mantra. Don't get up yet when it's yet not 1 hour. Just force yourself to keep reciting the mantra. If you persist in reciting the mantra, then eventually you'll be able to sit for 1 hour or longer. So don't get up yet when you feel like you want to get up. Start reciting the mantra again, or do some chanting. Keep chanting. After a while, your mind will become so engrossed in your chanting or in your mantra that you will be able to continue to sit and meditate longer. Kenneth Hunt, dear Thanajan, progress in the practice is slow, but I know from the past that without practice, I go backwards very fast. So this motivates the practice. Is this a correct way of thinking? Definitely. Because as soon as you don't practice, you're sliding backward right away. But if you keep on practicing, at least you are preventing from sliding backward. Or if you're sliding, maybe not as fast. And it depends on how much you practice. If you practice at the same level, you should be able to maintain the same level. If you practice less, then you will slide back. If you practice more, then you'll move forward. So this is how you should think about your practice. The more you do, the further you will advance. The less you do, the more you will slide back. If you do about the same amount, then you will maintain the level that you have achieved. From Chayam Lama Gurung, Namaste. Meal on meditation. Good morning from Chonburi, Thailand. Chayam Lama Gurung, Sadhu, Sadhu. Adeline Chin, thank you, Ajahn. Alvin Lee, Sadhu, Sadhu, thanks very much for your teaching again, Thanajan. Annie May, good afternoon, Ajahn. I have a question. After visiting new places, sometimes I have bad dreams or thoughts, goats. Why is that happening and what should I do about it? Thank you. You do nothing, you just accept that these are things that happen and it is just temporarily, it comes and goes. So don't dwell on them. Once they come and gone, leave them alone. You cannot stop your dreams, because when you sleep, you cannot control your thoughts, and your dreams are created by your thoughts. So if you want to have good dreams, do good things when you're awake, because then when you sleep, then you will think about good, you will have good thoughts, good dreams. From Rudy Pen, Ajahn, how to get from feeling low, helpless. You just have to calm your mind, recite a mantra, do chanting or meditate. Then when your mind becomes calm, you feel better, you feel good. Well, we have about 6 more minutes left before I have to say goodbye to you. So if you are typing your question, please continue on. Type your question and send them in. But if you're not typing, please don't do it, because I won't be able to have to answer your question. You have to wait until the next meeting. Kim Bun Chu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Wan Patum Napa, greeting from Pattaya, Thailand. Thank you for Q&A, Sadhu, Sadhu. Okay, we have about 3 more minutes left. So far, all the questions have been submitted and answered. I hope my explanation is good enough, clear enough. If not, I apologize, because sometimes it's very difficult to explain in the English language what I want to explain to you. Adeline Chen, thank you, Ajahn. You're welcome. Alvin Lee, Sadhu, Sadhu, thanks very much for your teaching again, Tan Ajahn. You're welcome. Andy May, good afternoon, Ajahn. I have a question. Okay, this already been asked and answered. Rudy Pen also answered him. Okay, I'm looking at the old question. Chin Li Ching, I notice I have to pay attention watching the mind for kilesa. Also need to do samatha. It is correct, yes. Yo Fu Ti, Sadhu, Sadhu. Gek Yen So, Sadhu, Sadhu. Mandy Smith, Sadhu, Sadhu. Kim Bun Chiu, thank you, Ajahn, Sadhu. Ui Po, Po Hua, greeting from Penang, Malaysia, Sadhu. Aranut, thank you, Tan Ajahn, for your teaching. Naomi Jonas, is chanting a good way to develop wisdom? If you understand the chant, if you don't understand the chant, then you just get mindfulness or samadhi. Because most chanting are the teaching of the Buddha, comes from the teaching of the Buddha. Karuna, if you chant the four satipatthana, for instance, you cannot, if you understand the meaning of the words you chant, you can get wisdom. You can chant in the translated language, like the English. If you don't understand Pali, if you want to get wisdom, you have to chant in the English language. Then you understand what you are chanting about. It's about the teaching of the Buddha, how to practice mindfulness, for instance. Karuna Ajahn, thank you. Tan Kwang Mei, thank you very much. Kim Echua, Sadhu for the advice. If any thought unrelated to the chore must be avoided, and avoid the plan of what to do next. Thank you, Ajahn. You're welcome. Sun Hin Yeo, thank you, Ajahn. Sadhu, Sadhu. Well, this is exactly 1 hour, so it's about time for me to say goodbye to you all. Thank you very much for your attendance. I hope I have answered some of your questions, explained to you the right way of practice. And I hope you benefit from this question and answer session. In the meantime, please continue on with your mindfulness practice. Be mindful and study the teaching of the Buddha frequently. It will keep you encouraged and it will keep you on the right path. Until the next time, thank you and goodbye.